The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with the women's basketball coach at UNM, Mike Bradbury. Mike, it's great to be with you, and congrats on a great regular season. I remember a comment that you made following the end of the regular season finale. You said, if you had told me we'd end up with 14 league wins before it started, we'd have taken that.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you knowing the league the way I do and the coaches and the players in this league, I think any time that you could go 14-4, that's a great year. Now obviously, however you start and things like that, and we got off to an 8-0 start, maybe that changed people's opinions or whatever, but I think in the long run, the regular season, 14-4 in the league, 23-8 overall, has been a success.
Coming off a regular season Mountain West title a year ago, the Lobos were in position to contend for that again here in 2021-2022. I know the women, your staff, you really wanted to go back-to-back, and you guys gave it a great run.
Yeah, I think it was close. I mean, we lose it by 2 games, and you can look at 2 games. We lose at the buzzer to Wyoming on a 3-point shot, and then we miss a shot at the buzzer to lose by 1 at Fresno. And there's the difference.
Yeah, and it's a very small margin, isn't it? And these 5 seniors, they gave it all this year.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've had to play a lot of minutes and have a lot of responsibility, and proud of them. Good players, good people. Okay,
so you're coming off your last home game as well, a senior night for 5 players who've meant so much to the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from what they've done and how many games that they've won and how they've carried themselves and all graduate, be great citizens and endorse the university the way they do. Just great people.
You can't ask for anything better than to have a legacy like that passed down to your younger players. Have they been able to do that for you?
Yeah, I think all of our young players look up to them, and try to emulate what they do, especially on the court. They've meant so much to everybody, but I think with this group, with having the 5 seniors and then everybody else being freshmen, their responsibility has been great, and they've done a good job of it.
Such a unique situation and a unique challenge for those seniors with such a young group surrounding them. Have they handled that okay?
Yeah, they have. They get frustrated at times, but the majority of the time they're trying to pick them up and help them and kind of speed them up and get them into it so they can help us play.
We're going to dig into this 2-game road trip the Lobos closed off their regular season with visits to Fresno State and San Jose State. And you talked about being 2 games out of a league title. One of the 2 losses you referenced was this Fresno State game we're going to dig into, and it was a heartbreaker.
It was tough. We got off to a bad start again, battled back, got close, but just couldn't pull it out.
It looked like toward the end of the contest, the game's really tight. It's a 1-possession game. Nobody could score there. Was it good defense for both teams, or did you guys get some open looks you just didn't make?
Yeah, we missed 2 layups in the last minute and a half, that from 2 really good players. And, just wasn't our night.
Oh, and you faced off with a team that has a couple of really good players in the Cavender twins, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did a good job on one and not so good on the other.
Okay. When we come back on the other side of the timeout, we're going to get into it. Our first breakdown. We're going to look at Fresno State and the Lobos from Fresno next. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. We're back with the women's basketball coach at UNM, Mike Bradbury, on your Lobo Coaches Show, about to break down the Lobos and Fresno State from California. Before we get into the highlights, Coach, in our opening segment, you mentioned how you got off to a slow start in this one, and there's a little bit of a trend there in that. With regard to the first quarter, what do you think was the issue in this one?
I just think we came out, we were a little bit flat, and we'd had a good week the week before. We come out, we didn't have the same energy that we had in the previous 2 games, and to Fresno's credit, they made us pay for that.
Where does the energy loss show up most? On the defensive end? Is it in the way the ball and your players move with pace on offense? It's not there. Where does it show up?
It's a combination of both. We couldn't guard them early. We didn't have any energy, and then offense, our mind wasn't in the game. We were missing, open threes. We missed several layups. Shots that we normally don't miss, and I think that just goes to show that we weren't mentally locked in for that.
All right, let's get to the tape. The Lobos in Fresno State from California. There's a tip in early on here.
Yeah, when we moved the ball, we could get good shots, and there against the press, we were able to do that. It just wasn't consistent enough, especially the first quarter and a half. Later in the second quarter, we kind of got going.
You'd get down by 11 at the end of this first quarter. What about what they were doing offensively that was difficult for you guys to guard?
Yeah, we couldn't control them off the bounce, and then they were beating us up on the boards too.
The offensive rebounding of the opposition, that's been something that you've talked about all season long. A little bit of an Achilles heel for your team, but do you feel like you have improved in that area over the course of the year?
I think we've gotten better. We're still not a great rebounding team, and I don't know that we're going to be, but I think we're getting better, at least competitively.
That's kind of an area where you look for your team to, if you can make it a stalemate there, the other areas where you have strengths and maybe advantages, that's going to take over?
Yeah, I do, because we always win the turnover battle, and that's where we can offset that. You can see now we're starting to make a run here, and we were down 11 or 12 there, and we'll eventually come back and get the lead here by half. The last 6 minutes of the second quarter was the best we played during this 40-minute game.
You outscored them by 12 in this second quarter. Baskets started opening up for your team?
It did, and we moved the ball. We got excited, that last 6 minutes, and we were pretty good. And I was hoping that would carry over to the second half, and for a little while it did, and then we hit another little lull in there.
It's interesting as a coach, how do you help a team when, maybe it's between the years, really. It's not what's happening physically, but it's either psychological or emotional, mental, a lack of focus, and you try to get them back locked in.
Yeah, and you never really know why it goes away. But sometimes it does, and it's not. We're not the only team. This happens to a lot of teams and at different times of the year.
One thing that certainly is an issue is when there's not as much of a crowd involvement in a game, you kind of have to find your own energy, and you look to your teammates to get it. And that can be a spiraling thing the wrong way too, if nobody has that energy to feed off of, right?
Yeah, that's correct. You need energy from your teammates, especially the ones on the bench, that are involved in the game.
Can the coaches sometimes provide that a little bit? Maybe you get into the team, maybe that's what they need on a given day, or another day, maybe they just need a pick-me-up.
Yeah, and we tried to. We had to call a couple timeouts there early in the game to make sure that we were going to make sure we were engaged, and I could tell early on that was our problem.
So now you get within one, and here we are down at the finish.
Yeah, we got Tay driving at the basket, not a great, or Tor driving at the basket, not a great shot. I thought she did the best she could with the play that we had drawn up. We just wanted to get it in one of the guards' hands, with a chance to win it, driving at the basket, maybe get on the free throw line.
So let's circle back to what we talked about in the open with regard to the final couple minutes of the game when you had some good possessions and some good looks, and for some reason the basket just closed up.
Yeah, it's tough, and that doesn't happen to us a lot, but it did in this game, and it really showed there in the last 2 minutes. We got some great shots. We missed a wide open three and 2 layups, and our defense, we had switched to a zone at that point and held them scoreless for the last 3.5 minutes, and that gave us a chance to win. And those are shots that we normally make, and I would take every one of them again with the players that took them.
That's exactly where I was going to go with my next question, because you could see there the last bucket that we showed for the Lobos, you were down 3, it got you within 1, and I guess the thing that you feel best about there over the final minutes is that the defense stepped up. Like, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you see teams trade baskets late in the game. Doesn't matter if you're scoring if you can't stop them. But time and again, you guys got your offense another chance.
We did. Several stops in a row, got some big defensive rebounds, and just couldn't find a way to get one more basket.
How do you guys as a staff make the decision at a critical juncture or to change things up maybe in the first half to go to a zone? When does it feel, is there something that happens regularly that's kind of a trigger for you? Is it just a feel thing from game to game and opponent to opponent?
It's kind of a feel thing for us because, we play 95% man. We were having a little bit of trouble there for about a 4 or 5 minute stretch of keeping the ball in front of us. And they were driving it, and they were getting dump offs for layups, and they were just getting a lot of layups. And I just wanted to make them do something different, run a different offense, keep them out of the lane. You run the risk of them making threes, but we had to get them to take a different shot, and we were able to do that.
This Fresno State team was a team that was picked right at the top of the conference prior to the season. They didn't have a regular season like they would have liked, but they're really dangerous, aren't they? Yeah,
they really score the ball, and they play a different style than most teams. They're difficult to play. Be the Twins are good, but they have other good players. They were picked to win the league, for a reason. They'll be a tough out in the tournament.
I was just going to ask Coach Bradbury that about Fresno State being a tough out and the league as a whole. You've talked about the depth and the breadth of the league. This is kind of a wide open tournament, isn't it?
It sure is. This is as wide open as I've seen it since I've been here. There's going to be no easy game. You're going to have to grind your way through each round.
All right, when we come back on the other side of the timeout, the Lobos close out the regular season with a romp at San Jose State. That's next. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Welcome back into your Lobo Coaches Show with the women's basketball coach at UNM, Mike Bradbury. The Lobos wrapped up their Mountain West regular season in San Jose against the Spartans. Let's get to the videotape. So this was a nice day for your Lobos, Coach.
It was. Got off to a good start. Jayden was really, really good in the first quarter. Got us off to a great start. Scored the ball really well, saw the floor, ran the team. I thought she was really good, but a quick start here. Really excited everybody on the bench and kind of led it to the way it was going to end up.
And another place where not a lot of fans, you got to find your own energy. You guys clearly had it early in this one.
We did. Luckily for us, Nia Ogman is from San Jose, so we probably had the majority of the fans there.
That's awesome. There's Jayden Laserto with a little turnaround and a beautiful jumper. So 24 points, 7 assists, 2 steals, 6 boards, 2 of them offensive. She made a 3, 10 of 18 from the field. She did everything, Coach.
Yeah, she was really, really good in this game, and she was excited to play. She was disappointed in the game prior to that, and she came out ready to go and ignited our team.
Her intensity, Coach, you can hear it in the way that she talks. Look at that little runner. She's got a really good variety to her game, but she wanted to check all the boxes this year. You can tell she wanted another regular season title. She wants to go win that tournament and get into the NCAA and win a game. Like, she wanted it all.
Yeah, and her work ethic will allow her to get a lot of her goals. Nobody works harder than Jayden. Nobody plays harder. Nobody's more unselfish. A great teammate and a great player. Can't say enough about her.
So there's one of the top freshmen in the Mountain West, Paula Reyes, and we talk about her three-point shot and her ability to see the floor and kind of be a point forward for you. She's a great athlete. Catching the ball at full speed there on the run on that transition bucket, I mean, she's tremendous. She can do it all, Coach.
She can. Really talented. Excited to see her grow, as she continues in our program. But talent will never be her problem. She's just got to stay the course and make sure she's working hard enough.
Gosh, look at that pass by Tora off the bounce with a right-hand whip pass as she spins around. She's something dishing the ball, Coach.
Yeah, she is, and she likes to do it, likes to pass the ball. She gets excited about that.
Well, it's fun that you have a player on your team who is so unselfish that the thing that really, gets her going, that gets her motor going, is finding her teammates.
Yeah, absolutely. We couldn't ask for a better point guard. She's really leads us on the basketball side of it.
One of the beautiful pieces of this game, Coach, especially leading into a tournament where you're going to have to play multiple games in multiple days and you want to take it all the way to the finals, is that you get bench players key minutes, get them comfortable on the floor here late in the year. You never know who's going to have to play 5 or 10 minutes when you get to Vegas.
Absolutely, and we were able to get a lot of kids playing time in 2 or 3 games here late in the season, and I hopefully that pays off for us.
There's Jayden off the bounce and a no-look pass.
Yeah.
They call it a blocking foul. But
they did. We got the three-pointer there, and then we also got to shoot free throws on that play. Big play there from Jayden.
Fantastic. And a tough shot made from the corner, too. The offense looks like it was really clicking, both inside and out. You were kind of doing it all here against the Spartans.
Yeah, we were, and we had scored a bunch early, and people had made a bunch of shots, and so our confidence was really high. Throughout, especially here in the second half.
Look at
another
the hustle
play from Jayden.
Yeah, you think about the game's already out of hand, 21 points. You could have let that easily go into the bench, but that's not Jayden.
That's not what she's going to do. Got a big layup from Zeno, then Zeno throws it inside to Nevaeh. She gets a nice power move. It was good to see those kids get in the game.
So a lot accomplished in this contest, Coach. You win big at San Jose State. You wrap up the regular season with a feel-good road W before you get to Vegas, and pretty much you get to empty the bench. I mean, this is an ideal scenario, right?
It was good. We were able to go on the road. We got a split, not what we were looking for, but good enough. And was able to get home that night and had a big game, and everybody be happy because everybody got to play.
All right, we come back on the other side, celebrate 5 seniors, and set you up for the Mountain West Tournament. Next. The Lobo Coaches Show is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. Back to close out the final regular season edition of your Lobo Coaches Show for women's basketball. I'm Robert Portnoy with the head coach at UNM, Mike Bradbury, and Coach Bradbury. And before we talk about the Mountain West Tournament to close it out, we've got to discuss your 5 tremendous seniors. Let's start with Antonia Anderson, your games played leader for a career, 1,000 points, 500 boards. She's been unbelievable.
She has, and it's been a great 5 years for her. Part of our first recruiting class. She come in and was able to play right away, found a role, came off the bench, contributed, and it just slowly got better for her in more minutes, as her career went on. And, we can see that it's turned out for her to be an all-conference player.
A New Mexico kid, Jayden de Laserto, we've talked about her, and she's in the top 10 all-time in scoring for the University of New Mexico, over 1,300 points, 9th all-time, from a player that wasn't getting on the court to one of the all-time greats.
It's unbelievable. Jayden's a great story. She's, was the very first recruit we got. When I got here, again, part of the same classes as Antonia Anderson. Came in, didn't play hardly at all her freshman year. Came in the office and was just like, what have I got to do? We gave her some things and told her what she needed to improve on, and she literally walked out of that office right into the gym and has never stopped working since. Everything that she gets, from first team all conference to maybe player of the year, whatever she gets, is well deserved, and it's earned by Jayden. She has earned every single thing that she's got, and to come from not getting to play much to being in the top 10 all time in this program, which has a lot of history, is saying something, and she's not done yet.
That's special for sure. Okay, what about the Duff twins? Latasia Tay, number 2 all-time in three-point field goal percentage in Lobo history, 41.5.
It's unbelievable. Both of those guys are incredibly hard workers. Tay's a great shooter, great teammate, plays as hard as she can play. Tora, she leads our team by how she plays on the floor. They're not real vocal, but they lead by example, and Tora knows everything and that we need her to know, and knows where the ball is supposed to be. Her teammates trust her. So happy we got those two, and I give my staff some credit. They went and found them down in Alabama, and we went down there and got the deal done. It was it's special having those two.
Latora Duff leaving her statistical mark on the program as well. She's 7th all-time this year with 163 assists. That's 7th in a single season in Lobo history. Finally, Shai Magruder, number 5 all-time in career blocks with 108.
Shai's a great kid, funny kid, loves life. Very rarely has a bad day. She's just a happy person and a great basketball player. She came in, found a way to play as a freshman behind Jason and Nike and carved out some minutes and has continued to grow every year. And these last two years, it's shown what she can be. Her ceiling is so high. As long as she continues to work like she has been, I think she can be the best player.
An incredible class. Going to be tough to replace this crew.
It will be, but that's what makes it special is when you get a group that wins this many games and has this much success. That makes them special. It makes them hard to replace, but well worth it.
They delivered the first ever outright Mountain West title for the Lobos last year. Okay, so you're the 2 seed. You're going to Vegas. You want this group to get a tournament title. That would be absolutely the icing on the cake for this group. It's possible, right?
It's possible. We're talented enough. We're good enough. We just need to make sure we go there with the right mindset, right work ethic. Play the way we play. We don't have to be anybody any different. Play the way we play, and we'll have a chance.
30 seconds to go. I feel like, from a karmic standpoint, the Lobos, the women's team, due for a little good luck in Vegas, Coach.
I agree. We've had some tough luck. We've had the best team a couple times, and we've lost our best player the game before we go. So we've had some tough luck. It would be nice if we'd get some on our side this time.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thanks, Robert.
That'll do it for us. For Chase Christensen and Allison Weiss and Coach Bradbury, I'm Robert Portnoy. So long, and go Lobos.